The results are in, and we are cautiously jubilant. Ah, hell, we're delighted. A new Gallup poll shows a record number of Americans consider themselves to be independent. Party affiliation is on the decline, and it's no wonder. Well, look, confetti. Great. With both parties so far behind public opinion on issues like same-sex marriage, legalizing marijuana, and national security, most people have chosen to go it alone. You're not alone. We got you covered. We're just like you. We're the independents. Well, hello there. I'll be your hostess for the evening. My name is Kennedy, and I'm joined by my fellow independents, Reason Magazine editor-in-chief Matt Welch and Camille Foster from Free Think Media. We are so independent, we named the show The Independents. All right? Like, not to spike the football, but tonight our party panel has a lot of explaining to do, not just to us. They've failed you utterly. Our Republican Party operative tonight is Kayleigh McEnany. She is an editor for Political Prospect. And left of center, it's sweet donkey boy, Steve Laser. He's host of the radio show Making Sense with Steve Laser, and a man so powerful. His name is Laser. First up, let's actually look at these poll numbers from Gallup. 42% of respondents call themselves independent versus 31% donkey Democrats and a scant 25% who still claim to be Republicans. 1 month on the air and already the world is bending to our will. I love it. Matt? What do you make of these numbers?
This is the highest since Gallup's been measuring this since 1988. 42%, as you said, define themselves as not libertarian, my wish.
Oh, wishful thinking!
As independents. This doesn't.
They call that a von Mises slip.
He's got von Mises on this. Anyways, this does not mean that they're registered independents, nor that they're going to vote independent or libertarian or Green Party or anybody.
What does it mean, though?
What it means is that when you're asked to self-identify, are you like a Chevy man or are you a Toyota man? Are you a Republican or are you a Democrat? They say, no, I'm not part of that. It means that they are going to act more independently. And in modern politics, that means any time that one of the two major parties blatantly disrespects their own base on something that they care about. So for Democrats, when they're in power, they're actually not any good on civil liberties, even though their base wants them to be. Republicans, when they're in power, they suck on fiscal conservatism. So what you see is these people act independently. The Tea Party arose out of this sort of feeling about fiscal conservatism, and whenever voters get to use the initiative process or work around their politicians, that's where we've seen advances on the issues that Democratic base cares about, like gay marriage, like legal marijuana. So these people, voters, independents, are much less predictable. You can't herd them anymore, and whenever they can, they're going to try to disrupt the system despite their elected politicians, not because
they're political cats. What do you make of it, Camille?
Well, the part of this that's the most interesting to me is just trying to figure out who this is harming more in terms of the Democrats or the Republicans. And it does look like the Republicans are sort of sustaining the most significant portion of the variance here between being a partisan and being an independent. And I think there are a lot of reasons for that. Obviously, the Republican Party has always been referred to as a big tent. You have your social cons, you have your defense hawks, and you have your libertarian strand of the Republican Party. Keeping that whole contingent together is going to be pretty difficult, and one has to wonder if the party may, in fact, have to rebrand at some point in the near future if it continues to bleed this way.
All right, so Steve, your party has failed the American public utterly.
I don't think we have. I think if you look, I agree with Camille. I think if you look at the variance in the numbers, I think the Democratic Party,
they do
percentage
less
of folks,
bad
well,
than the Republicans.
The percentage of folks who identify as Democrats are still within, the normal range of what that has been in the last 5 to 10 years. Republicans down to 25%. That's way down, and I think a lot of that is
because it's really only down 2 percentage points from 2011.
Yeah, and
they have been
Here's
the thing. I think Republicans don't have the answer on anything right now. Now, Newt Gingrich said as much at the end of the RNC meetings this last summer. Republicans have no answer on health care reform. They have no answer on foreign policy. They have no answer on how to create jobs. He said it. And I agree with him 100%. And what's more is, there's no answer on the horizon. They have two wings, the main wings of the Republican Party. You have the folks who are the neocons and you have the folks who are libertarians. It looks like the libertarians are winning. I hope they do. I'm looking forward to working with libertarians on things like gay marriage and legalizing marijuana and things like that. I think that's what's going to happen.
You're looking forward to libertarians becoming Democrats.
But it's going to be a painful process for Republicans. It's going to be a painful process.
It's not just Republicans. It's not just Republicans.
Hold on, Camille. Hold on.
Yeah.
Republicans do have solutions, and the American public agrees. In fact, one of the polls that we haven't talked about is that 40% of Americans call themselves conservative. This is a consistent poll year after year that Gallup reports. Only 20% of people call themselves liberal.
So how'd you screw it up? I mean, you have...
Yeah, if you have that many people, why are you still losing people who call themselves
Republican
Republicans?
Party doesn't elect conservatives. I think we all can agree John McCain was hardly a conservative. Romney, certainly not the face of conservatism. We need people like Paul Ryan. We need people like Marco Rubio. People.
It's convenient, but is Patty Murray stroking budget?
No, but he's a realistic conservative. He realizes that he only operates one-third of the government.
You're a realistic conservative.
Well,
when you want to spend a bunch of money, you're realistic.
All of that may be true. We should return back to the Democrats for a second, though, because we did see the numbers slip for you guys. And we saw it in an interesting time between 2008 and 2010 when you got your guy, when you had all the momentum, and still people were running away from this brand. I think that's worth noting. And you were getting the policies you wanted. You were pushing them through. They weren't having the effect that you wanted. And I have to wonder if the sort of debacle that we saw with Obamacare, if the fact that the president has been late to the party when it comes to all of the social issues, that the American people are clearly moving in a different direction. Maybe he'll come around on drugs as well.
Okay, Steve, make your point, because I want to add something to that. So go ahead.
Camille, I'm really glad you brought up 2008 to 2010 because people had a much better opinion of Congress between 2008 and 2010 than they do now. 2/3 of Americans. CNN poll says that 2/3 of Americans are disappointed with Congress right now. They think it's the worst Congress ever.
What about Democrats?
Your answer is they like Congress less than my guy who's running the White House?
well, if you're saying that the problem was in 2008 to 2010, the Americans like Congress a lot more.
It's still going on. I'm suggesting
here's the problem, and here's
lose.
what we have seen based on my intuition and this poll. After 2008, I think George Bush hurt the Republican brand. And the Republican Party has not recovered because they have not put up candidates that most Americans can identify with or who want to be led by. And then with the Democrats, I think that your guy who's in power right now is setting your party up to do the exact same thing. I think the country will be so wounded from massive deficits and more entitlements that they won't want another party filled with government intervention and bad solutions.
Well, the deficit's actually getting less right now. And I don't want to blame it. I don't like George W. Bush. I don't want to defend George W. Bush, but the entire Republican Party basically supported him in going into Iraq, in warrantless wiretapping, all of the things right now that the Republican Party does there and conservatives don't want to be a part of.
You're talking about 2002, but this is 11 years later.
Yeah.
Right.
And Steve, what we're seeing is a complete rejection of liberalism because President Obama acted like a moderate during his campaign, but then when he got in office, he is acting like a true liberal, and they are rejecting liberalism because this is not a liberal country.
Okay, guys, I got to cut you off because it's a live show and we need to take a break. All right, stand by. We'll get you lathered up here when we're good and ready in just a minute. Later on the show, Colorado Congressman Jared Polis is going to join us to talk about his national quest to make pot legal. It got me thinking, what do freezing people in New York City think about legal weed? Take a look-see.
Should marijuana be legal?
I think it should.
No, I don't think it should be legal.
No? I don't know.
I think it should just be used for medical purposes.
But you do think it should be legal for cancer patients and the like?
Yes.
Should marijuana be legal, yes or no?
Yes.
It can be regulated if it's legalized.
If you want to use it, go ahead. I mean, if it can't kill you, right?
Do you use it?
Nah.
If you did, do you think you'd lose it?
Would I lose what? The weed? It's weed. You're not supposed to lose weed.
When people smoke marijuana, they crave Krabby Patties, right?
Yes.
Do you think marijuana for that reason should be legal?
Yeah.
There you go. SpongeBob. Who knew? Mr. Krabs looking for him, by the way. Where's your spatula?
Lead on that one. My God.
You know, you don't want to lead with SpongeBob. You want to be surprised.
Okay.
It's like never mind. I'm not going to use obscene hand gestures because I love you, Kevin. More on the pot coming up a little later on in the show. Plus, John Stossel is going to drop by to sprinkle the show with his special brand of man magic. But next, is Chris Christie a big fat bully? We'll answer.
To Siberia. Well,